All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA off-season video. In this video, I want to talk about the Dallas Wings. I want to talk about um, a bunch of things about them. Their practice facility that's going to be built, their new arena that's going to be built, their potential number one draft pick that they have a choice to make. Talk about Enrique Gumbawale and Paige Bueckers, and talk about some other coaching stuff that's going on in the WNBA as well towards the end. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. I also want to make a note here. I finally got some soundproofing foam. I put it up. Let me know if it sounds a little bit better. I think I can hear it in my head, but what you guys hear and what I hear in my head are two completely different things. So I will also run this back to make sure it sounds good, but I think it's a improvement so in the quality. So there you have it. Um, so yeah, I got into a bit of a constructive argument about a bunch of things this weekend, as I normally do on my weekends, get into arguments with people online. One of my favorite pastimes for the last 10 years of my life that I've been online and been in the basketball space. I've been in the WNBA space for about 5 years. I've been watching for 10 years. I didn't really get into the space as a whole, like the online portion of it, until like the past 5 years. But there was a conversation that I was having with a bunch of people, and we were talking about the number one pick that the Dallas Wings have now, and who should they take, who's the best option. And then I sort of went down the rabbit hole of just thinking about the Dallas Wings and their future, and that led me down the rabbit hole of finally listening to the introductory interview of their new head coach, Jose Fernandez. I'm probably going to mess up that name at least once or twice in this video, and then throughout the course of next season of the WNBA, because there is a NBA coach, Jordy Fernandez, so I might slip up and go in between the both of them at some point throughout this um, video and the future videos. But we'll just call him Coach Fernandez for now, because he does deserve that respect. We'll talk about him a little bit. But I went down this rabbit hole of watching that a couple days ago. I saw that the Dallas Wings got approved for their new arena. That's on the right side of your screen, top right and middle right. I think that will play a part in their future. They also got approved last year, I believe it was, or even a couple months ago, for their new practice facility that is bottom right and middle bottom of your screen. Those mock-ups and those pictures um, of those, and I've just gone kind of down a rabbit hole this whole weekend of thinking about the Wings and the future. And there wasn't a lot of NBA stuff going on this weekend. A lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about. So it was a sort of slow weekend for the NBA. So I figured, why not make a WNBA video and not force myself to make some content I don't want to make, because I know this season, for me especially, um, this basketball season, NBA season, probably next WNBA season, I want to make content I want to talk about. And this is something I want to talk about. So if you want to stay and you've listened to my 3 minutes of rambling and my preamble to this video, thank you. Let's get into it. I have questions first. I wrote down some questions because I was like, I don't want to lose these thoughts that I have right now. I had these thoughts on like Saturday. Um, and the first question is the first pick. Um, who should they take? Who will they take? Um, top left of your screen, Awa Pham, the international Spanish player. Um, Middle left, AZ Fudd, UConn. Middle of your screen, smack damn middle of your screen, Lauren Betts. These are the top three candidates for the number one pick. You also have Olivia Miles, who's floating around this area. I haven't seen any Olivia Miles to Dallas Buzz at all. They already have Paige. She's the point guard. Um, Olivia Miles is a point guard, so they don't really, you would double up on them. You don't really need to do that. Um, so yeah, she's out of the question. At least right now. Who knows what could happen? I don't think they're gonna take her, but Awa Fam, Espana, um, AZ Fudd, UConn, and then Lauren Betts, UCLA. Um, I've made it no secret that I am a big Lauren Betts fan. I really like her a lot. I think a lot of the stuff that she does translates well. I think the biggest hit on her is her defense. They play a certain type of defense at UCLA. It's more drop for her, where she's dropping back towards the basket versus coming up on screens, doing more modern stuff. I think the defense is the biggest thing she'll struggle with at the next level. I'm not here to do too deep of a deep dive on any one of these players since I do have a bunch of questions here that I want to get to. But she's my pick for them. She's my number one for the number one pick. As of right now, as of December, what is it, 8th? As of December 8th. Um, yeah, December 8th. I think, and this is what I said when I was arguing with these people. I shouldn't say arguing. When I was having these conversations with people, I was like, you go throughout history, right, of basketball, of the NBA, of the WNBA. You have a guard and you have a center or forward. That duo usually works out 80% of the time, and it usually results in playoff appearances. Do you win championships? Nothing's guaranteed in any league. You could win a championship, everything could fall apart. You run into the better team year after year after year after year, it falls apart. You win, lose, draw. Do the you can do the normal things as a guard and Paige Bueckers, and as a big, whether you take Lauren Betts or Awa Pham, you take either one of them. They're a big. I think talking about Awa Pham here for a second, she's more. What's the word I'm looking for? She's more um, transcendent isn't the word. More malleable. She's more malleable, I think. Or that's not even the word either. Versatile. That's the geez. Where did I go to get all those other words? She's more versatile. She's more of a modern big. I could see her playing the four. I could see her playing the five. She can shoot the ball a little bit. I mean, I have her numbers up right here. We can talk about it right now. Um, she's playing in Eurobasket right now, or she has played in Eurobasket. She's played in the World Cup. She's played in the European Women's European Championship. Um, she's been playing basketball at the professional level since she was 16. She's participated in the under 16, the under 17, under 18, all these things. Um, she's a pretty consistent player. Her total averages throughout these youth events: 12 points, 9 rebounds, almost 10, 2 assists, and they don't have any other particular stats here. Those are just the regular stats. Um, but nevertheless, she is very high for a lot of people on their big boards when you're talking about this draft. And I have yet to do my full homework on her, so I don't have a true opinion on her. But when people start talking about these kind of players, I start to listen, and I sort of at this point have to take their word for it. And getting back to my point about the guard and the big, I think you take one of these bigs. I think it's a no-brainer. You take one of these bigs. Um, you have a guard and a center slash forward, and you move throughout this off season and the free agency that's coming with those two players, or with the thought of those two players, and then you bring in other players to fill out the roster. Now, for AZ Fudd, middle left, she's a guard. She's also Paige Bueckers' partner. Um, I don't think that's a huge deal. I think it does play a little bit of a part in me being hesitant if I was a GM to draft her number one, other than the fact that I don't feel like she's number one. I haven't watched an AZ Fudd game this season. I've watched a few UConn games and been like, that's the number one player in the nation. That player deserves to be number one. I haven't watched too much Lauren Betts, but I haven't felt like she's number one either. Again, I haven't watched Awa Pham yet, so I can't say if she's number one. But to me, personally, as somebody who's watched many teams construct rosters from the ground up, free agency wise, every which way you could think of building a team, I've seen it. I've been watching basketball for a long time. And I think the safer bet is to take a big, have your guard and your big again, and then move out your rebuild through that way. Taking a double guard in back to back drafts is risky. I don't think I know for a fact centers don't move around like that in the WNBA. It's usually guards that usually move around in free agency. forwards and centers. They're usually centerpieces of teams. They usually stay with their team. They don't move around like that. I think you're gonna be surprised how linear this free agency is, where almost every player is a free agent this year, but a lot of them are are going to return to their teams that they were on last season, or they're going to be minor tweaks to the rosters. I genuinely have a belief that if they have Paige and AZ on the same team in Dallas, you're going to run into roster construction problems because what are you left with? You're left with Lee Yuru at center. I like Lee Yuru. I do. I'm one of her bigger American fans, I'll say, because she is just played for the Chinese national team, and she probably has a lot of fans in China. But I'm probably one of her bigger American fans. She's not a starting center to me. She's not. And I do want to talk about Enrique. Actually, let's do it now. Enrique, bottom left of your screen with Paige. Um, they played together last year. Didn't play a lot of games together last year. I didn't even in the pre-draft process of Paige's draft, last year's draft. I didn't like the fit. I thought the fit would be terrible. It turned out a little bit better than I think a lot of people thought it would. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I still don't love it though. I think they move on from Enrique. I think Enrique is not on this team. So I'm through the rest of this conversation, I'm going through the thought of it's just Paige and the next draft pick they're bringing in, and whatever other people they can retain throughout free agency and the expansion draft that's coming as well. I'm going through the rest of this video like that. Enrique Gumbawala isn't going to be on this team, so it's a clean slate essentially, which I think is what they want to do. And that leads me to their new coach, Jose Fernandez, who I listened to his introductory interview, listen to him yap, listen to him talk about, say all the buzzwords that you want to hear. Listen to Kurt Miller, who was also in that introductory press conference, say all the buzzwords, say all the things you want to hear, all the good praise that Kurt Miller said about Jose Fernandez. Um, it was all fluff, but there was some really good nuggets in there that I do want to talk about. A little bit about Jose Fernandez here. He is one of the most accomplished college coaches. He's been coaching at what is it? Florida, South Florida, not Southern Florida, South Florida, for 20 something years now. He's very accomplished. He is. Let's see what his win loss record is. He is uh 485 wins to 317 losses. So he's a winner. He's a winner. He's coached 802 games. He, in his time at South Florida, he himself and others have said or admitted, or corroborated. That's another word, a good word. That he plays a very pro style, or has played a very pro style when he's coached South Florida. Has had a lot of international players come to the program, go on to play professionally other places in the WNBA, and he's a really um, a buzzword that was used, innovative coach, and has been an innovative coach for the last, we'll say, 15 years, right? And I came away from that interview thinking more than ever that, well, let me backtrack. He said they want to play early in the shot clock, they want to play with pace, and when they do get in the half court sets, they want to get high quality shots, a good shot diet. Um, I think that's the smart things to say. Those are the right things to say. But I left that interview or that introductory press conference with the fact that more than ever, either they are going to trade down and trade down or trade out of the pick to go get somebody, or they're going to take our fam. The I read the tea leaves, and the tea leaves say our fam. International player, versatile. He also said Coach Fernandez said he also loves the versatility of the team already. I think that leads more into him wanting to be more versatile, period. I think that's great. I think the other thing that makes me say they're going to take our fam is she's Spanish. She plays on the Spanish team. Jose Fernandez is Spanish. There's a connection there. Um, I'm just looking for any sort of breadcrumb that I can find that this team is going to go in a direction that I don't think any other WNBA team has gone quite yet. And it's happened in the NBA. The positionless, overused word is revolution, but positionless basketball. Um, you see some teams doing it. You saw the Aces do it. There was a lot of times where Asia Wilson was at the five, guarding all five positions. Um, I, particularly as an Aces fan, didn't like that. I think they need a real center. That's neither here nor there. This is about the Dallas Wings. um, I, 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 I think there is a place where Jose Fernandez is the Mike D'Antoni of the WNBA, Mike D'Antoni NBA, 7 seconds or less Suns, played very early in the shot clock, sort of revolutionized the NBA on the men's side. I think that's what Coach Fernandez is going for. And I think it's daring. I think it's smart. I also think you could land flat on your face. I think it's not going to happen immediately. There are going to be some sacrifices with this roster. I said this months ago to somebody else. The people that are on this Dallas Wings team last year that you really like, that you fall in love with, are probably not going to be on the team that wins the championship eventually. There's going to be some sacrifices. There's going to be some hard decisions to be made about who can play in this style. Can they adapt to this style? Can they feel comfortable with Paige having the ball? Can they feel comfortable with whoever they pick in the upcoming draft with the ball? Um, I don't know how well players are going to be able to adapt, especially considering there's looming threats of a lockout. There might not be any training camp. It might look bad the first year. If things continue as normal, as league business continue as normal, and they get the CBA figured out and everything runs smoothly, I think this team can make a real big jump next year, regardless of who they pick. But if there is a lockout, if there is some stoppage of league business and team business, this team might look might look really bad the first year. It might be a repeat of last year where they only won 10 games on the season. Might be. But that brings me to another question about this team. Overall health. Paige Bueckers has not been the healthiest in her college career. She played a lot. She played a majority of the games last year in her first WNBA season where she won the Rookie of the Year. Um, if they do take AZ Fudd, she has similar injuries, or I should say injury question marks. And you run into a situation where you are going to play in space, you are going to play in pace that requires a lot of miles on the body. Can they hold up? If it's AZ and Paige, can they hold up? I don't know. I don't have these answers. It's just the thought I had. I've thought about it this whole time. Both of them have had, I think they both have had knee injuries. I'm never the most comfortable when we're playing basketball at a higher pace. It's more physical than ever on the men's side and the women's side, where the injuries start to add up. Windows for primes are getting smaller. Team windows are getting smaller for winning championships. I grow concerned when you have two injury prone, who already have had major injuries in their career, players. Um, to be fair to both of them, bigs, especially bigs like Lauren Betts, don't age the best. I'm thinking 10 years from now, 8 years from now. They don't age the best. They get injured once or twice. It's a knee, it's a foot, it's a back. It doesn't look good. Um, Considering that as well, as I'm talking about it, playing in space, playing in pace, and as Coach Fernandez said, playing in the half court only when they need to, getting good shots. I don't think that's Lauren Betts. I think Lauren Betts is a great player. I think she's I think she has the potential to be an all-star player. I think Awa Pham has the potential to be an all-star. I think Awa Pham, speaking hyperbolically, has a chance to be like an Asia Wilson type. Personally, that's what I think. Literally almost watching no film of her, just hearing what people say about her, watching these highlights on Instagram and Twitter. I think that's where Awa Pham is. That's where her ceiling is. That's where her. You can't even see the ceiling on Awa Pham. I can see the ceiling on Lauren Betts. I can see the ceiling on AZ Fudd. I can see the ceiling on all those two players. Um, Bringing it back to the health. I grow concerned about maybe the ball being in Paige's hand too much in this system. We'll have to see what happens. Um, my next question that I have on my list is questions about Coach Fernandez. Um, I wrote this before I watched the introductory press conference. I come away with almost no questions, which is great. But I do wonder, I have a slight wonder about, again, the style. What you say and what you do and what you can do with the bodies you have is very different. And the way he talked, the way he really wanted to get the camaraderie up, get all these building block things up, made me think very positively of him. But going from coaching college for 20 years to the WNBA is a bit steep of a climb. And again, he might fall flat on his face the first year. I'm going to ask people because I also said this about the Liberty coach as well, the New York Liberty, who are on a way different timeline than the Wings. But you have to be patient with these coaches. I think Coach Fernandez and Coach Chris, who is now the Liberty's head coach, um, might have a bad first year. We don't know what this first year. We might again league business might be halted. There might be some hiccups. They might not be able to get the training camp in they need. There are all these things, right? It might be bad the first year. These guys are accomplished um, at some level. Um, you have to be patient with them, and I think they have enough of an acumen and have enough of a resume to be granted that patience. So yeah, the other thing that popped into my mind when I alluded to it also was maybe they trade out of this pick. Also, maybe they take easy and they have to go out and find their big of the future. Is Dallas a free agent destination? Was my next question. I I think with the amenities that are being promised and the ground that's going to be broken on their new facility and their new arena in the latter half of this decade is probably one of the best things that could happen to Dallas and the Wings. I grow increasingly curious with the fact that the Wings have never had success as a franchise, whether they were in Tulsa, now they're in Dallas. They've never had success. The biggest claim to fame is was it almost 10 years ago? Is that 10 years ago? When Liz Cambridge was scored the most points in a WNBA game ever and still holds the record. That's their only claim to fame as a franchise. They've never won a championship. They've never had real playoff success. They only have the most points scored by a player in a Dallas Wings jersey. That's all they have. Most points in a single game, and they win a Dallas Wings jersey. That's the only thing they have. This is a brand new regime. It's a brand new coaching staff. It's going to be a brand new coaching staff. Um, it's going to be a new arena. It's going to be a new facility. New face of the franchise and Paige Bueckers. I think I can sell myself on going to Dallas if I was a WNBA player, which I'm not, but I probably could sell myself on it. I worry about the looming fact that maybe they're just cursed. Maybe there is no real real success being able to happen here. But if there is, this is the right time. In 2025, going into 2026, this is the right time. And I think Paige is great. I think all the negatives that I've sort of alluded to and like the health and all these other things and maybe Coach Fernandez style doesn't translate the first year, maybe it's the second year. I think everything is a work in progress, and I think everything is TBD, to be determined. Um, I think when you look at this team and you look around the league, this is one of the most young and exciting and interesting teams. And if I could put some stock, if I could put some money into this team, I think I would. I think at worst, they are building a playoff contender, and I think that's the best you can hope for right now. The other thing I wanted to get to here, we already talked about the point guard center combination versus the shooting guard, point guard, the backcourt combination, which is better. Historically, in the WNBA especially, guards don't win MVPs. The last uh, guard to win an MVP was like 10 years ago, and it was Diana Taurasi. Um, with that thought, and this is another tangent I went on, was do you think, you as the viewer and anybody who's listening, do you think that any of these guards, whether it be Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, AZ Fudd, um, could win an MVP? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't. And to be quite honest, I don't think Lauren Betts could win an MVP. And I'm only putting the MVP as a parameter because as the number one pick, I expect you to have some MVP potential at some point in your career if you're a number one pick. Because you're the best player in college, um, probably, right? Um, you should probably be able to win the MVP or be in those conversations. Again, this sounds crazy. I think Alba Fam has the potential to win an MVP. That's just me. Um, I just don't feel comfortable personally with a double backcourt of two shot heavy guards. I would feel more comfortable personally with a guard and a center or a forward. Personally, that's just me. Um, yeah. My last question, before we get out of here, is how many players will play actual minutes for them and impact the game? This ties into Coach Fernandez's style. Um, how many players are going to be in shape? How many players can handle the pace? How many players can um, get used to the system? All these questions. Who's actually going to play? Who do the Dallas Wings right now and going into the future, the next couple of months? Let's see what happens with the free agency and the draft and everything. Are they going to have enough bodies to actually play high level basketball and go from a team that was probably the worst in the league last year, one of the worst in the league, to a playoff contender? I don't know. Those things usually take time. They take time. And like I said at the beginning, a lot of the players you see on the roster last year, next year, probably aren't going to be on the championship roster. They probably won't be. And that's just the reality of building a team. And that's the reality of trying to shoot for the stars and be a star, not just land in the sky, you know? Um, yeah. And that's it. That's it for my questions. I do want to talk about their facility and their arena a little bit. Um, Also, why they are not playing at the American Airlines Center anymore and building their own arena is, I believe, the American Airlines lease is about to expire for both them and the Mavericks and the NBA. So the Mavericks either will re up the lease. Obviously, the Wings aren't going to re up their lease. They're going to build their own place, which is cool. Um, that's something also to take into mind. Um, Also, their new facility. It feels like every WNBA team is building a new facility. I my only thought about the facility is I feel like they all look the same. They all have that same like modern, polished, sort of boring, sort of like almost not hyper futuristic, but like ultra futuristic comfort. Like there's warm tones and there's warm colors and there's wood and the lockers are like unique and cool. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make a stink about their facility. I just feel like they all look the same. But congrats to them for probably in the 2030s having their own arena and having their own facility. Amazing. I feel like that this is one of the first franchises that are gonna have both of those. I feel like the Aces are on that track. I believe they play at the Mandalay Bay, I believe, right? Arena. Um, or center, whatever they call it. I don't think they own that. I think they lease that. There's been talks of them getting their own arena as even before they won the most recent championship. But I feel like the Wings they're gonna be on a roll if they get this draft pick right, man. They're gonna be on such a roll, man. They're gonna be on such a roll. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's the video. Quick little WNBA stuff for you. Right here at the end, like I said, the Liberty got a new head coach as well. Um, I am very high on him. He's is still a Warriors assistant coach, but the guy has 4 championships as an assistant coach. Has been around all types of teams, especially high level, high IQ, high winning teams. And the one thing I want to say is the people like being upset about it, like they hired another man. Um, Guys, I don't care what you say. If the person is qualified for the damn job, give them the damn job. I don't really care what you are. They, them, she, he, she, her, he, him. I don't care what you are. And the problem I have is like, I think what I think is important is just everybody getting the opportunity to interview. If people aren't getting interviewed for the job, that's the problem. If you're not getting hired for the job, there's a reason why you're not getting hired for a job. Okay, that's all I want to say about that. I like Chris. Chris is a good guy, good character. Um, Obviously got to coach Steph Curry. Steph Curry and Sabrina Escu very similar in play style. Sabrina Escu, the poster child for the Liberty. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, that's it. That's the video. Um, you guys will get your regularly scheduled NBA content later this week or probably even tomorrow. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.